So the thread of my story begins in 1972, which was a stellar year for me in terms of my personal development and the connections I made in that year to some of the teachers that I've stayed with over the decades since then. And one of the foremost was Dane Rudyard, who taught me about the lunation cycle and the cyclic changes that are inherent in the cycle, the structure of the cycle. He provides a real groundwork for a whole new astrology, which goes beyond the conventional sun sign astrology and into a solely lunar astrology. So it's a different foundation than the astrology of the newspaper horoscopes that we're familiar with, which are all based in a sun sign astrology. So we're pushing out beyond the limitations of that type of astrology into this more expanded framework. Rudyard teaches us about the inner structure of the lunar cycle. So on this mandala that we see here, we're at the new moon portion of the cycle. And from this point on, there will be a process that unfolds. Now we can become conscious on a day-to-day basis of that process. And this mandala has a number of keywords inside, which break it down into different sectors. So 8 basic sectors and keywords like emergence. We're in the emergence stage now. And then into expansion, and then action, then overcoming, and as we come up to the full moon point, and then back down into the last quarter and the reorientation, and then into the release sector, and back to the next new moon. So this is a cyclic process that I've been aware of in my life since 1972. And along with my studies, I developed for myself a lunation journaling practice. So I would actually, and I have 50 years worth of journals in my possession now, and I've been mining them ever since the COVID started. That's when I really started getting into going back into my journals. Well, you can imagine 70 or 50 years worth of journaling can take you into a lot of different places. And it's been very practical, though, for me to gather together as a research tool the different elements of the lunation journaling practice. It is a tool, and I've been applying it all these years. Now, even before I got into that particular astrological orientation, I came across the work of John C. Lilly, MD. Some of you may be familiar with his work. He is one of the pioneers of the contemporary consciousness movement. He's one of the great granddaddies who, as a medical doctor, was he was a researcher, essentially, who was fascinated with communicating with dolphins. This became a real passion for him and a whole research project over many years. Now, he also, as a medical doctor, was legally investigating LSD. Further to that, he was the inventor of the flotation tank. Most cities in North America now, I know, have at least 1 or 2 or up to 10 flotation tank facilities that you can go to. And what they are canisters where you enter a space physically, and that where you are supported by salt water, Epsom salt water, and you're in an attenuated environment, let's say at room temp or as your body temperature. So it's a way of kind of going back to the womb in a sense, and of disconnecting from all your regular inputs. And it became a really powerful tool for Mr. Lilly to explore his own mind. And in doing that, and he came out of this, one of his initial series of explorations with the book, The Center of the Cyclone. And within that book, some people call it the Lilly Law, but I call it the Consciousness Explorer's Credo. And it's an aphorism that Lilly gave us, which really has us realize that beliefs are in the province of the mind. What one believes to be true is true or becomes true within limits to be found experientially and experimentally. These limits are further beliefs to be transcended. In the province of the mind, there are no limits. So he really has us attend to that reality, that we are the possessors of minds that are unlimited, and that we're always in the process of establishing beliefs, belief structures, and then of experiencing the limitations of those beliefs. And ideally, we're able to push beyond those limitations. And this is the whole consciousness movement, is how to move beyond temporarily limiting beliefs. John Lilly wrote a number of books and hundreds of scientific papers, abstracts. I've read all of these and really was completely fascinated at the time. I had a huge yearning to have an experience of communication with dolphins as a result of his work. Of course, living in Calgary at the time, there was no access to that. But thankfully, later in life, I did connect not with dolphins, but with cetaceans in general. Now, just to go back to this Center of the Cyclone book, this image on the right is included in the book at the very beginning. And there's no commentary about it. It just was there. So as I'm digging back, just a couple of weeks ago, I'm going back through my journals, and I'm back into 1972, and I came across this book and this image, and I suddenly started to feel all of this energy and information coming in. And it was associated, this is 50 years later from having first encountered that image in that book, I'm having this connection. It feels like there's a dolphin wanting to communicate with me. I mean, as harebrained as that sounds, that was the belief that I established, was that there was some kind of telepathic communication wanting to open up here. And this is actually a journal entry. I did a copy of the spiral, glued that into my...
Ich hab's gekriegt.
What's that?
Oh, I just got a sound activated.
Oh,
sorry.
Great, Barbara. Well, thank you. I'm glad you let us know you're here. That's great. So, and then I came across this dolphin image at the same time, and I just felt like, God, this little guy wants to connect with me. Well, there I was. I'm digging back, or no, this is my current journal. So I'm researching it, specifically his book, The Scientist, making notes. And so all of a sudden, as I say, I'm getting this one-to-one dolphin connection. The dolphin that's in this image here is one that I cut out and pasted it in over one of the graphs in his book. So I'm really kind of swimming with this whole dolphin consciousness. There's the cover that of my journal, and this image, you know, just kind of surfaced out of my collection of cards and so on. And then this image of Barbara's, this is a painting of one of the Mayan hieroglyphs that she did years and years ago on silk, absolutely exquisite. In fact, here's a larger view. Now this is kind of, she has here the essence of the experience that I was having, which was of this one-to-one relationship with a dolphin and with a sense of journey, of adventure, of that, you know, moving out and into other realms of consciousness. And I was just, this went on for 2 or 3 days where I was just swimming in this kind of energy. Researching telepathy, and I came up with this from the National Library of Medicine. Telepathy is defined as the communication of impressions of any kind from one mind to another, independently of the recognized channels of sense. So here you go. I'm now exploring telepathy. Unexpectedly, I'm exploring telepathy, and synchronicities are starting to happen. And those always keep me on the trail. And I just start pulling on the synchronistic threads, and inevitably it leads to something much broader. So 2 days later, I've got this guy on my computer as my background image. And Mary Jo Fulmer sends me this link to this fellow, Lee Harris. Now, do you get the resonance between those two images?
Mm.
I sure did.
Yeah.
It was like, oh, whoa, just sent a thrill up my back, you know?
Mm.
And that was just, as I say, one of the synchronicities in a series that just kept me pulling on that thread. So where are we going? Okay, let's go out on the internet and start researching. Well, he started popping up in different places. This is just one YouTube search. There's another one. And this guy is staring at me from all these different places. We get to this one, and it starts to get really interesting. There's a whole video here by these folks. It's called Portal to Ascension. There's the link if you want to check it out. It's really a very interesting hour and a half. And once again, there's my buddy showing up and in a sense urging me on. So from that video, I realized that there are people actively working to communicate with dolphins. And inevitably, it has taken them into what is called cymatics, because dolphins have a capacity for sonar. So they're always pumping out frequencies way beyond what we can hear. And those frequencies are, because of cymatics, being made visible. Cymatics is the study of sound and vibration made visible, typically on the surface of a plate, diaphragm, or membrane. So there's many different ways now that people are generating mandalic images like this using sounds, different frequencies. So now in my work, in the lightning path synthesis, we're drawn into Mayan cosmology. And so at this point, I'm starting to link over into that realm. And we have, this is the Mayan calendar, the sacred Solkin calendar, which is the most sacred of, I believe there's 19 different Mayan calendars. Was there a comment there? I'm sorry. So we have, again, a resonance between this Mayan calendar image and the the cymatic images. So it's about vibration, it's about sound, and about image generated by sound. Now, I've been working with the calendar in many different ways. One of the ways was, there are 13 numbers that repeat 20 times. And that gives us the 260 combinations of number and glyph that are inherent in the Mayan Tzolk'in calendar. Well, I like working with those numbers in a graphic way, and I generated this series of mandalas. And this is kind of how they work. There's a series of 13, and there's this gradual buildup of intensity that occurs over the course of those 13 days or 13 years, or in our case, turns out to be 13 moons. Now, Albert Einstein, future medicine will be the medicine of frequencies. He was onto it, and so was this fellow, Nikola Tesla. If you wish to understand the universe, think of energy, frequency, and vibration. So here we have these contemporaries, Tesla and Einstein, but historically we have the Mayan cosmology. And they were already into this hundreds of years ago, thousands of years ago. Now, just to review, to go back to, I for 14 years was engaged in my lunation journal practice. And in that 14th year, I had a realization that this lunation journal practice was embedded in or could be seen to be embedded within the Mayan calendar grid. So 14 years later, from starting that practice, I'm taught about the Mayan calendar by Jose Arguelles, his book, Earth Ascending, and also his book, The Mayan Factor. And from that practice and that understanding, there I was on March 3rd, 1986. I had an expanded experience of resonance to this Mayan, as Arguelles calls it, the harmonic module. This was him establishing the very most core essence of the sacred calendar. Such a core essence that you could take it as a tool and apply it at whatever scale you wanted to. Well, I had no desire to be establishing this scale that this is at, but it was revealed to me in a very powerful experience. And what it was rather than this being a grid of 260 days, which is common, it's 260 moon cycles. So at every new moon, one enters into a new sector of the grid. So there on March 3rd, 1986, I made the commitment to traverse the 260 upcoming moon cycles, to at least go that far with it. And there's my little footsteps going on the trail. And yes, I did complete that in 2007. And it continues. So there I was in 2006. I'm at sector 1 Imish, the very beginning of the whole harmonic module sequence. And I'm having an experience, a direct experience of the primordial mother. I'm back in the womb. I'm at the very beginning of something. And this is how the Mayan calendar information can be used. It's there to inspire us. It's there to give us a mythological orientation to life. And there's information there for us, that information that we can choose to embody if we wish to. Again, the numbers play a role. The hieroglyphs play a role. This is the hieroglyph of the primordial mother, is Imish over there on the left. And there's 21 years of Mayan calendar attunement. Well, it just happens that 21 years, that's 260 moon cycles, 21 years is exactly 1/4 of the time it takes Uranus to orbit the sun. So what we have here, and this is why I call it the lightning path, it's about aligning our consciousness with the domain of Uranus, which astrologically has its own body of symbolism and of meaning. So this is a map of consciousness into that Uranian realm, essentially. Planet Uranus. Whoops, I'm sorry. Wanted to get that. Astrologically, Uranus represents essentially the power enabling man to ascend from one level of consciousness to the next. That is, to experience a true metamorphosis. So in the humanistic astrology tradition that Rudyard pioneered, that's the nature, that's the way we relate to Uranus. It's a psychological orientation, astropsychological. So this whole lightning path synthesis that I've consolidated is about using the tools of astrology, using the Mayan calendar, using journaling, all of this in order to embody this Uranian energy, which is the energy of transformation and change. So you might already be wondering, where are we now? And I say we because this is actually a global orientation. I feel I'm a single human representing the species, and we're on a journey, and this is one insight into, or one vantage point into the journey that humanity and of the whole planet is on. It's a map. So there's the harmonic module. And here we are today, May 30th, 2022, Earth enters sector 8, Oak, of this harmonic module. And what is 8 Oak about? Well, we go to the book, The Mayan Oracle by Ariel Spilsbury and Michael Brenner. And we get a reading on what's the first component of 8 Oak. Well, it's 8. 8 signifies harmonic resonance. Now, the lunation cycle itself, as I showed earlier, can be broken into 8 sectors. So it's the lunation cycle itself represents this notion of harmonic resonance. And as they say, pierced by the harmonic of the one heart, you sing ecstasy's song. Join in singing the dream awake. Qualities associated with 8, empowerment, galactic grid. We have that with the harmonic module. Path of the one heart. It's knowing and feeling that one-heartedness that we have with our species and beyond. 8 is the ray of harmonic resonance, the foundation of self combined with the current of the Trinity. It is love made visible. Create the flow of harmony in your life. Enter the spiral frequencies of the greater galactic grid. You are being offered empowerment through your innate resonance with this grid. Be aware of where you are drawn, for there you will find unique opportunities. Discover the harmony of being in this natural resonance with others. Be receptive. You are the diviner of harmony, the meeting ground of physical reality and the infinite. Bring a deeper harmony to the practical circumstances in which you find yourself. Free the ego from its self-centeredness. Embrace the potent energies that are raising the harmonic frequencies of the planet. Breathe easily. You are the song being sung by the new golden octave. Sound the resonant tone of the one heart. That was the number associated with this lunation cycle. The hieroglyph associated with this lunation cycle is Oak, OC in the Mayan oracle. And once again, the oracle says that Oak refers to breakthroughs, new beginnings, relationships, companions of destiny, emotional body issues, recasting the past, spiritual strength, guardians, and guides. So these are all the elements that are swirling together now with 8 Oak. And I must say, in my own orientation to this moment, it really feels like a breakthrough. I'm feeling expanded. I'm feeling empowered. I'm just so grateful all of you have showed up at this moment to share in this transition with me. We have Oak refers to dog, is another word associated with it. There's our dog Goldie here. Oak is also the mammalian brain. The Maya have considered there to be four brains, and the serpent brain, the dog brain, or mammalian brain, the eagle, the planetary mind of the eagle consciousness, and then the solar consciousness. So they're each kind of brains in themselves. Well, we're with the whales of the world, the whales and the dolphins. We're all of the mammalian order. And so we're back to cetaceans and to dolphins as one of these cetaceans. And we're back to John Lilly, who really was a pioneer in this effort to communicate with another species, or with the cetaceans essentially. And he lived until 86. And in his final years, he established, there was the Human Dolphin Foundation. And then he came up with this concept of the cetacean nation. And I'd just like to share with you, it's an extended piece, but I think it bears establishing it here at the very start of this journey. It's his statement about the cetacean nation. A new way of thinking and being is currently evolving on our planet. We now recognize that there is another bona fide intelligent species that occupies our world besides us. They have been here for millions of years and have consciousness. Until now, the true nature of these amazing creatures has remained obscured to most people, with the exception of a few who've recognized their unique and exquisite qualities. The ancient Greek philosopher Aristotle was one of the earliest on record to acknowledge them, while the famed Oracle of Delphi connected to them on the spiritual plane during that same time frame. During that golden age of enlightenment, many higher states of consciousness were available to humans, the likes of which have not being seen until our present time. Humans have only recently accepted cetacea as part of our modern cultural matrix, as in the past 50 years, their species has made a conscious effort to gain our attention. And for good reason. We humans have intruded upon their domain and assaulted and enslaved them, challenging their very existence on this planet ocean. The recorded history of the human species has thus far demonstrated our propensity for violence and insensitivity to one another and our environment. But that cycle of existence is now passing. A new season of higher consciousness and connected awareness is now available to anyone who would wish to recognize it. The dolphins and whales are here to assist us in this transition to a shifted understanding of our connectivity. They have had eons of time to understand and use such expanded awareness of the multidimensional realms and stand ready to encourage such development on the part of humans who are ready for this new level of evolution. Not only do cetacea represent a decided shift in human intellect by accepting another sentient race on the planet, but with this new association, many may also be considered to be emotional balancing and healing agents for the troubled hearts of mankind. Add to this the understanding that dolphins and whales represent a spiritual manifestation on the physical plane, and it moves to establish an even higher consciousness connection for all to observe and become a participant. Open your minds and hearts to this new sensation and way of being. Feel the joy and peace of a fifth dimensional awareness, pod mind mentality. It awaits your acceptance and realization. We're no longer alone in this universe. We are awakening to who we really are, light beings connected to the source of all that is. The cetacea have anticipated this moment for 3,000 years, inviting us to rejoin them in this joyful recognition and new understanding of this liberated state of being. I'm grateful for such an opportunity and invite you to join me in celebrating. Welcome, John C. Lilly. I close this with a direct experience that Anne Mortefi and I had with a whale off Cortez Island on January 1st, 1998, I think it was. I discovered a whale sleeping in the Desolation Sound area off Cortez Island. And we awoke the whale. And he was, I think they call it logging. So sleeping, it was kind of snoring, a whale snoring. And we were in our kayaks and we just had this most amazing, intimate encounter with that whale. And that, to me, was one of the door openers into the world of the cetacea. It really, we felt we had a direct one-to-one encounter with this whale, and there was an amazing transfer of information at the time. For me, it was really a signpost on of confirmation that, yeah, there is communication possible here, and I want to explore that. So thank you for listening to this, and I look forward to the discussion. And one last thing. Zen Master Thich Nhat Hanh, who I was fortunate to spend time with years ago, teaches through the gong. And one of his gifts to us all was the use of a gong to bring us back to the present moment, because we're all prone to leaving the present moment, getting caught up in the future or the past, and not really being present. And I bring this in because imagine all the cetaceans on the planet. They're already there. They have to breathe consciously or they die. Unlike us, where we have this automatic breathing apparatus, they don't have that. Every breath they take is conscious. If you sedate a dolphin, it will die. It's that real. So on that note, thank you. So folks, it's open for discussion, contribution, whatever, questions.
I'll come in later, but in this moment, I'm just going to say, wow, and sit here.
I wanted to ask, this is Lauren.
Yes,
were you saying that 8 Ok is the beginning of this whole 260 new moon cycle in the Mayan calendar today?
I'm saying that we're midway through the 260, and we're at the sector 1 or 8 Ok. So
okay.
Yeah.
In the Mayan glyph, then it's not like at the 1 Imish, or if I've got that right, it's not there at the it's somewhere in the center right now.
Yeah, it's every new moon takes you into a new sector, and they go sequentially, and there's a process there.
That I understand. I just wanted to know what today was on that glyph.
Right. It's not only today, it's for this whole lunar cycle.
Of course, but it's initiated with today's new moon.
Yes, absolutely. That's it. And that's why I chose the timing using the lunation. And as many of you, well, from Calgary, know, we used to meet and get together and drum and have just wonderful encounters at the new moons. And so here we are in cyberspace doing the same.
Right.
After all these years, I love it.
Yeah, thank you, Dwayne. It was like through Facebook and the internet, I've seen your like glimpses of your work and what you're up to and where you live, and it's been fascinating. But to see your path, you tied it all together here, and then I go, oh yeah, I see where I've experienced some of those things as well that you're talking about with the whales, and most recently the wolf here on the island, on Vancouver Island.
Wonderful.
We were driving to the north of the island for the first time to see it. And that highway is isolated. There was no traffic.
Yes, I've been on that highway.
We came over a rise and we look, and Sophia and I both said at the same time, oh, look, a deer. And it's like 100 yards up. And as we got closer, we go, that's not a deer. And here was a wolf standing in the middle of the highway, still looking at us approach, and then turned and started walking in the direction we were headed. And then stopped again, came across the highway, but it stopped and just stopped and looked at us, and we were able to connect with it.
Beautiful.
And no traffic coming either way, and just the awe and the energy that started to build was just amazing. And then it just went on its way down into the ditch and back up into the trees, and then it stayed there and watched us. But if we didn't know that it went in there, you'd never see it from its camouflage, but it was looking at us. And what I got from it was its confidence. It wasn't like the coyote, it wasn't skittish, it wasn't like any other. It was just so confident, like, this is my domain, I'm here. And it was just an amazing feeling. So when you mentioned the dog, I said, here's our wolf, and this was a couple of weeks ago. So it's pretty fresh. So
pretty fresh, exactly. Well, you know, because you brought up that particular highway, I really should share. When I traveled that highway, I was heading up to Alert Bay for my first experience of whales. And that was in Alert Bay. There's a resident pod. It's called the Robson Bight. And a resident pod of orcas. I don't know, 30, 40, 50. And you can, you know, like many other places, you can jump on a ship and they'll take you out. And the one that I went on, they had sonar underneath so we could hear the sounds of the orcas. And that was my first experience of cetacea, other than the concept of it. And there was one moment, and the captain missed it, but I got it. There was an orca breached, and it was like he was waving at me. It was just like that confirmation, you know, and then boom, he's back into the water and then doing whatever. Well, of course, it just thrilled the heck out of me. And that's one of my reference points in connecting with cetacea. It's great that it came up naturally as a result of that highway journey, that long journey with no trees or just flat. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So how anybody else have cetacean encounters? Not necessarily, well, mammalian interspecies?
I don't have that to share just in this moment, Dwayne, but I do want to say is so profound. Like I just so appreciate you sharing your journey. Like it is so profound and so in depth and so it just hits me, and I resonate with the immensity of it. And as I say, I just need to sit with that, but there's sort of words that needed to come out in this moment, because it's like, I really, it's so what I'm just so in the moment of where I need to be and what I need to hear and what I need to, so it's all I can say. I'm so grateful. It's so perfect. And I won't, it's emotion now that I'm getting into. So I'll maybe come back later as this goes on, but I just, it's so perfect and I'm so grateful. And it's just, it's helped. Anyway, thank you. I'll come back if I can say things other than emotion. Thank you.
I feel you, sister. You know, Joanne and I share, each one of us is born into a lunar cycle, right? Well, some of us are born in the same lunar cycle. And Joanne and I share that, 1949. And I was born earlier in the cycle, and then she was popped in on Valentine's Day.
Well,
So it's just kind of fun, you know, to feel. I've encouraged other people. I said, see if you can find, you know, it's kind of like almost a pod thing, you know, who's. Do you know anybody born in your same lunar cycle? You know, because when you start getting into the symbologies of the Mayan calendar and the I Ching, which is another part of this, you share symbols, and it's really an opportunity to share stories and insights, you know, based on those symbols. So always interesting for me. There's another fellow in Calgary. Well, he used to be in Calgary, Troy Leonard, who some of you might know. He's also born in the same lunar cycle I was born in.
So this is your friend that's also born on Valentine's Day?
Yeah. Oh, yes.
Yeah, I'm born on Valentine's Day.
You're right. Well, I was trying to hook you two up.
Yeah. Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, thanks, Dwayne. And I haven't made that connection, Tabitha, but he did pass along your info. So, okay,
yeah,
There you
this
are.
is great. Yeah.
Oh, I love it. Now, is that the one heart or what?
Yeah, on my screen, you're right in the middle of us right now. We're on either side. I don't know if it shows up on everyone's screen the same, but
wow. You're in the middle on my screen, so
wow,
that's how it works.
Well, Steve got in there on mine. Steve's in there beside you, Dwayne, and then Tabitha and I are the beautiful bookends on those two.
Cool. Oh, that's great. That's great.
Oh, sorry. I was just during this whole presentation today, I've just been thinking there are no synchronicities or no coincidences. And just the fact that I'm here, I just thought so much of what you were talking about was resonating. And then you go into frequencies and whatnot. And I've been, as you know, Dwayne, I've been studying sound healing and frequencies for like over a year now. And that's what I'm doing tonight. I'm doing a sound bath for the new moon. And so I was just listening and I'm just like, wow, like synchronicities don't really surprise me that much anymore, but they do too. It's just kind of like, wow, you're always where you're supposed to be and meant to be. So that another synchronicity. So that's pretty cool. Nice to meet you, Joanne. And yeah, definitely connect with me. That's so cool.
Well, so how do we could we participate in your sound bath? Is that what?
Yeah. Oh, it's
is that open to?
Yeah, it's open to the public. You just have to have a Clubhouse account. I don't know if everyone does, but if you just Google Clubhouse, it's pretty easy to sign up an account. And my my club is Vivid Creations, and there's a search bar in there up at the top of the app. Dwayne, you already follow me, so it should be easy to find me.
Right on.
But if anyone wants to come and participate, yeah, it's Vivid Creations is the club, and you'll see it's new moon ceremony. So I'm doing a sound bath, and then I'm just going to do little rituals that I do on the new moon to help create and manifest the new. So it's kind of a concept, but yeah. So it was just so funny last night too. I was literally scheduling the room and Danielle was messaging me and I didn't know until I was done everything, and then I went in and she said, oh, and we started talking. Yeah, it was just funny. It's just another coincidence. So
that's great.
Yeah, it was awesome. So thanks for doing this. This is great. Inspiring.
Yeah, really.
Yeah.
I see Sophia left, and it's another synchronicity in her leaving that with the mandala that you talk about. She's teaching a mandala course at the university here through Zoom, and that starts in a few minutes.
Wow.
And that's where she is.
Right on. I like it.
And in terms of the encounter with the whales, I have one of those off of Homer, Alaska, with the humpbacks.
Mm-hmm.
And we went there. This lady just offered us accommodation and rain gear. She said, "Oh, come to Alaska if you haven't been up. Just come." And well, okay. So we flew up, and sure enough, she met us at the airport, and we went with the rain gear to Homer. We were walking on the dock, and this guy comes up and he goes, "Oh, you guys want to go whale watching?" Well, we said, "Well, do you have a senior discount?" And he said, yeah, you guys can have it for this. So we just need 2 more and then we can go. We said, okay, we'll go. And we go out and talk about synchronicity. This morning, I woke up nauseous, almost seasick, and I haven't had that feeling. So we went out on this boat, and sure enough, I fed the whales. I got seasick and sitting at the back, and then all of a sudden we were just surrounded by all the humpbacks coming up at once and feeding that energy of 7, 8 of them just coming up around the boat, and this all the herring just flying, and
wow,
that was just an amazing energy, one of those lifetime. I won't forget that sensation. So
right on.
that was, and I got a photograph of the volcano and 3 whales all going down in simultaneously down with their 1, 2, 3 going down.
A triple hitter.
Yeah, and the volcano there, and it's like,
wow. Wow.
Yeah. So that was, and they were just saying, we haven't experienced this in 2 years, so they're really back. I mean, this
Right
was 2 years ago, but it was, yeah, just the power of nature.
Yeah.
So wonderful.
What I understand now is that the humpbacks, that's where they feed,
Right.
is in the northern area, and then they give birth down around Hawaii.
Right.
So they make that journey, and when they're in Hawaii, they don't feed. They just
Right.
So yeah, you were right in the heart of the feeding.
Oh, it was a feeding frenzy.
Yeah, gosh, that's great.
Yeah, quite a. And I want to give opportunity for others to share too, but I have a few questions.
Well, just before we go to that, and just to pick up on your story, because Danielle and I, years ago, I took her on a whale watching expedition to Tofino. Well, we came away from that experience having gone out in this little boat and a very high sea. We both got sick on that journey, and it felt like that wasn't whale watching, that was whale chasing. Because we were going after these, just to get a glimpse of them, and they're on their migration from Hawaii up to Alaska. And I didn't feel good about that at all. It was like, no, I ain't doing that again. That's not what I'm interested in. And so that was a real good reference point for me as well in this whole journey.
Interesting. We did one off of Tofino as well, with hot springs, but on a little Zodiac, and there was a group of us in there, and then he was very respectful. There was a gray whale in a bay. He said, we can only approach so close. We have to turn off the engine and everything.
Yep.
And we just sat there and actually let the whale come to us.
Beautiful. Yeah.
And it was quite humorous because the whale came right under the Zodiac. So we look over and it's just like,
it's big.
just a few inches of water, and you can see all the barnacles and everything.
Wow.
go by. And then I look to my right, and there's a woman has a camera, and she's video, but she's looking the other direction. And I go, do you see this? It's under the zodiac. And she goes, oh. And she was filming 3 rocks that kind of looked like Ogopogo. She thought that was the whale that we had spotted. And I said, no, it's underneath us here. And she was able to put the camera down and actually get a glimpse of the whale. The perspective of she was seeing the whale that was being talked about through her camera, but it was actually rocks she was filming.
Yeah.
Which leads me to the humor. I know that in my lightning path, I've got the monkey. And I think we've stayed connected that way because of that. I just feel that humor has been a big part of my life, and I really love the history of humor. But I go back as far as the Greeks, and when you mentioned the Delphi and the humor, that in the literature, it all seems to say, well, it started with the Greeks. But I'm curious, in your studies, I guess it's in the trickster in the monkey, but in that Mayan calendar, do you come, or any other stories, do you come across any historical comedy? Or is it all pretty serious stuff?
Yeah, about as serious as the mudras that we used to do. Historically, I don't have anything for you, but I know that on my path, humor has got to be there.
Right.
I mean, there's so much to take ourselves serious about,
Mm-hmm.
But
I haven't done that mudra for a while, so it feels
it looks good on you.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, so I'll maybe look into that myself, because I'm doing that right at the moment, looking at the different cultures and their humor. So,
well, that's an interesting study, friend.
mm-hmm.
I have a question now. The emotion is, I've released the emotion,
right,
for the most part. So I would like help on where to start now. I don't know if I still have I would like to really now commit to this moon journey here. That that you're talking about starting here, and so is there that chart that you did? Would that be helpful, or just journaling starting with Och, and you'll let us know the next one?
Well, I intend to do that. I mean, the next one will be a 9 moon.
Right.
I can't remember
right
at this moment which it is. But right. Yeah, I'm always encouraging people to journal. Right. And if you can journal in attunement to the lunar cycle, it just adds a whole other layer that there's a gradual teaching that comes to you as a result of that. So the whole lunation cycle just becomes kind of second nature, And that's where we've moved from a solar emphasis calendar into a more organic unfolding spiral structure. And your journaling can, and one of the exemplars of journaling that has inspired me is Arthur Young, who got the first commercial helicopter off the ground. And he journaled his research work. And he said that it was so important for his eventual discoveries to have that thread of insights, over time. because he could go back into his journals and then start connecting the dots, you know. Without that journal, it's just kind of, the information is just kind of all over the place. Once you get this chronological timeline happening, it's a tool, and I love going back through my journals. And I'm always amazed at the things that I've forgotten, like whole huge insights that just kind of spring up. And yeah, it's just been. And you know what really got me into my journals recently was when we had the big fires here last summer, and our home was threatened by fire, the whole village. The village to the south of us burned to the ground during that time. Well, there was this moment where we're checking in with, okay, if we have to evacuate in the next 15 minutes, what are we going to take with us? And there I've got, you know, this 50 years of journals, and I look at them and it's like, oh my God, I won't be taking those. So that started me on digitizing. So I literally have gone through all of my journals and taken a photo of every page and digitized it. So now I've got it all on one little floppy or one little memory bank. So that feels good, you know. Plus now I can go in and just flip digitally and go into particular dates, you know, and it's been a great tool, and you know, further development of that journaling tool.
Well, I'm impressed. Like, at least I feel like, okay, here's another myself that has journeyed, that has written the journey, has compiled it, has been into it, has gone into the depths, has done it all, and I can resonate with it. I that's why, as I say, I'm so grateful that, oh wow, okay, I get it this way. I don't have it here, I haven't journaled, but to hear you and to go on your journey with you, and it's sort of like, oh, I get it, okay, I get it, yes, thanks. And the only other thing that I won't take up any more time here myself, but it's like, for me, being the, you know, the emotional being that I am, with this whole journey, or what you've shared today, like my encounter, what I go to is the movie that fits with all of this for me is Whale Rider. The Whale Rider.
Right on.
And wow.
Oh, I got to watch that again. That was great.
That's at the top of my list. That's the top of my list, The Whale Rider. I'm right there.
Right on. Thank you for that. Thank you.
And again, thank you, Dwayne. Thank you for this.
My pleasure, really.
So when you do your journaling, you write down like 8 oak, and then you just write what's happening or what you hope to happen. You hope what will grow in that new moon cycle. What is it that you, if you were to guide other people in what to do with that beginning point, what is it that you do?
I guess there's an initial meditation on the symbology for the new moon. So just like I shared earlier, you know, for 8 and then for oak. So I get those qualities in mind. It's almost like, and if you look closely at some of the hieroglyphs, you can imagine, like for the primordial mother, one Imish, it's like a robe. And you even see on the glyphs, there's this cutout part at the neck. So it's almost like you're putting on this robe of symbology, and you're going to wear it over the next 30 days. And there's qualities associated with that robe that this is a spiritually oriented teaching. So it's about embodying those qualities to raise your vibe, you know, to help you keep your heart open, to to inspire your connection to the greater grid, you know, the larger pattern. So you can concentrate on it for that lunation cycle. And then at the release part of the cycle, at the end of the cycle, you discard that robe and you take on the next robe. And then the next and the next and the next. And over the course of 20 moons, you've gone through all 20 hieroglyphs. And there's a process that goes from primary being into more celestial realms, let's say. So it's about expanding consciousness. And the final number 13 and the hieroglyph ahau refers to like the pinnacle of attainment. So you've got they call it the solar lord. You know, this is the expanded consciousness that is in resonance with the sun, and which is also in resonance to the galactic center. So it's like you've become the solar powered individual. Now, as I'm saying that, you know, the thing about the moon is that the moon makes the process, it's a practical step-by-step ascent. If you're attuned to the lunation cycle, you're going to naturally come to points like I did after 14 years of this steady process where I'm with the wave of the lunation cycle. Then suddenly I see that rhythm is actually embedded in a larger structure. And the larger structure is the Solkin, the harmonic module of the hieroglyphs. So I only got that insight, I think, because I put in the time, you know, put in the 14 years of practice. And I know other people are, you know, that it works similarly. Just any spiritual practice is going to bring about, if you're sincerely engaged, it's going to happen for you. You know, and the thing about Uranus, if we're talking Uranus, it's going to probably be a lightning bolt, and it's going to change you, whether you like it or not. You know, you have no control at that point. So then it's about surrender. So then we go into the Neptune realm, you know, surrender, just total surrender. Okay, there ain't putting Humpty Dumpty back together again. So now I'm in this new realm. What's appropriate action for me? You know, what's my path of harmony? You know, we're talking about diviners of harmony. That's really what we're doing with these Mayan calendar symbols and the astrological parts and all of that. They're astrologically, they come, in my way of thinking, they come under the command of Chiron. Chiron is the seeker of pattern awareness and of harmonious expansion of consciousness. And it's a matter of using tools, using your divinatory tools, using your sound, color, and vibration, you know, tweaking, turning up the frequency to change the cymatic pattern, you know. And now, I mean, people are working with sonics and, you know, in direct relationship to the dolphins. You know, they have this inner sonar capacity, and we're just picking up on it, you know. Like their frequencies go way beyond what we can perceive without instrumentation, let's say. Lilly, in his work with the dolphins, initially they were taking dolphin sounds. They chirp. They also do long, well, like the whales, they do long penetrating sound vibration. Well, all of that gets. What Lilly did was cycle it down so that we could actually hear the outer ranges. And then they got all kinds of information from that. And he realized how much information those dolphins are sharing because of this bandwidth, which was huge. So that's the sort of thing we're up against. And I hope at some point in this life to have a one-to-one direct physical encounter with a dolphin. I'm going to be looking to, really zero in on that and pay attention to whatever sonics come from them, because, well, as I've discovered, there are people working with dolphins and wounded people with wounds of whatever kind, physical, emotional, mental. And the dolphins are actually, through their sonar, they're vibrating people in ways that are releasing them. They're releasing stuck energy in the body. They're releasing the, tumors are being altered so that they disappear. I mean, there's an incredible, this is what I'll be doing in this next month, is I'm going to keep pushing myself into research around what's happening in the cetacean world or the cetacean human interface. Because I really do feel like they're reaching out, I mean, when I was bawling the other day when I watched a video of some of the destruction of the whales that goes on to this day continually. I mean, what we do to their species, and they are coming back to us with such compassion, and they're just there. They're there waiting to be acknowledged, and they will help us. And I feel like they're there for us. But we gotta reach out and make the connection. Sorry for that.
Oh, that's good. Very good. Thank you. I enjoy this emotional part.
We're all feeling it. Plus it's this new moon.
Yeah. Because I had 8 years in Maui and in the different islands, I have swum many times, almost every Sunday with dolphins.
Oh, beautiful.
And so, as well as whales. And I just was in the Cortez area, Sea of Cortez, and again, was with dolphins. And it is, I don't think there's anything that excites me more. It was very exciting. And I have heard stories from someone who I totally believe wasn't making it up, of a person who was completely healed by the dolphin encounter she had. I think it was as much as being paralyzed and then wake up, and she'd been like all her life, and after they went underneath her. After she got back on the boat, she couldn't even remember. I mean, she slept like a very, very long time. And when she woke up, she walked. I mean, it was that level of healing. So I've worked with the whale associations. This is my field as well. So another synchronicity between us.
Oh, I'm so glad to hear that, Lauren. Now, you were on Maui, so do you know Joan Ocean?
Yes, I was at her house.
Wow, she plays big in the research I've been doing.
Yeah.
Her and her husband, the visionary art.
Jean-Luc, he's on I have a recording called Ecstatic Communion. It's his artwork that's on it. Jean-Luc, and
on one of your CDs.
Yeah.
Oh, beautiful.
Called Ecstatic Communion. That's his artwork on it.
Oh, wonderful.
But anyway, yes, they were at that point. She was following the Sasquatch. It's saying that they are real, and that was her new thing, as well as her ponies, her horses. So they have they keep moving around in all their studies, but yeah, that was pretty amazing swimming there. But as I said, in the early days of Maui, one could go every Sunday pretty much, and with a kayak find the dolphins and be with them and play with them and all that. But then they've closed all these sorts of things down, and very rich people have taken over those areas and made all of it prohibited, not for nature, but for their own privacy, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, that's too bad.
That's life here on this planet.
Yeah, exactly. There's always a workaround.
Right.
The Uranian factor.
You have a journal PDF, as I remember.
I think the PDF that I may have sent you would be the Tales and Tools.
There was a journal available. It felt like it was.
Oh, okay. A printout. You got it. Yeah, it's from on my Lightning Path .net website. There's a free download, so it gives you a template. It gives you the mandala for I think for the whole cycle, and then 8 sectors you can just print out. And that's where a 3-ring binder works really well. I'm actually, I've got a new binder started up for this moon cycle. And the beauty of that is that you can, like a lot of my journal work is actually my research work. I mean, if I have a portion of a book that's really got, you know, the information I want, rather than typing it all out or writing it all out, I'll photocopy that section. Boom, that goes into the journal, you know, and then I can mark it up, whatever. And the 3-ring binder is especially good for that. Barbara, you're back. You've been out swimming with the dolphins.
Yes. I'm swimming in the cosmos with the dolphins.
That's a beautiful painting. Wow, beautiful painting.
Yeah, can you see it? Yeah, that's actually a painting, a relationship painting between a Pisces and a Sagittarius. It was like a present somebody made to his wife for the marriage.
Nice.
So yesterday I was speaking with Barbara, and I asked her if she would be willing. I would love to interview her and have her share the story of her 20 dolphin paintings with the hieroglyphs.
Yeah, the glyphs, yes.
Glyphs. So maybe over this next moon cycle, that would be one project. So there's me at new moon making an attention. I'm going to connect with Barbara and get this interview.
It's amazing. I never thought that I can make 20 paintings in a row. And they came in like 5-ish, you know, like 5. It was channel. I had no idea about the Mayan calendar or anything.
That's so wild. And what do you remember what year that was?
80, no, it was 95 maybe, or 92. That's when I came to Cortes Island to see you guys. Because I live in the Canary Islands right now. So, and I lived then in the Canary Islands as well.
Right.
Where are the Cortes Island?
Canary Island.
No, where is the Cortes?
Cortes Island is where Dwayne lived for a long time.
I know, but I don't know where that is. Could you tell me where that is?
Dwayne, you explain it better than me.
Go halfway up Vancouver Island, and then take 2 ferries back towards the mainland.
Okay, thank you.
So it's the boonies, but it's a really magical place. It's wonderful. And
where's the ferry going from Nanaimo? No, it's like, what is it called? Where you said over to
well, yeah, Campbell River would
Campbell
be.
River, yeah.
Campbell River, yeah.
It's kind of halfway up the island there. Yeah.
So on that road up the island there, on this trip, we went out onto a wharf, and a resident there, he came down just because it was early season and we were looking around, and he came out and just started visiting. He said, when you walk out to the end of the pier, they're just installed a speaker some scientists have laid microphones under the water so they can pick up all the orca sounds and the whale sounds.
Beautiful.
So he said, just turn the dial and it'll go for 45 minutes. And then from the wharf, you can hear the sounds of the.
Beautiful.
If anybody wants to listen to the whale sounds on my website, I have one of my CDs is called Maui Whale Songs. And I have two original songs of odes to the ocean and waters, but it's also many. One is a 3-minute whale speaking, because the person I went out to the ocean with was he made hydrophones, which is like a microphone, except of course hydro with the word with water. So it is pretty fascinating. The 58 on that same recording, I have 58 minutes, and it was about 24 different whales, like a chorus, all singing together. So that because I am a musician, this has been one of my hugest interests is the dolphin and whale sounds, because I believe they're more intelligent than humans, and they have a connection to Sirius B. I think it's the star. Anyway, there's a whole lot of things with the. I'm part of the Dolphin Star Temple, and I was also going to say that that in the Native American traditions I followed for 4 years, it was also that the new moon, you would set your intentions. It was like baby energy, that you could do what you so desired. Like for me, my intention is to complete the sale of this home I've been in for 10 years. And keep making my way through this process, which is, I can't even explain how challenging it is, but so be it. I'm moving ahead. And anyway, there you go. I just wanted to say, if you went to Lauren, LAUREN songs, SONGS.com, rather than my last name, Lauren Pomerantz, would take a while to get all those letters in there. Lauren's songs was for that. You can listen to some of it or contact me and I can get you the recordings.
Well, thank you. That's great.
You're welcome.
I've been...
Yeah, I do feel very related to your path, Dwayne. I've seemed like, not knowing you, I've lived a very similar path where, with the interest in the same sort of Mayan, Dane Rudger, all the different things, and the dolphin whales, huge, and new moon energy, and being very aware of new moon, full moon, tying up loose ends from full moon to new moon again, and following those cycles.
Yeah.
But I hadn't done it in relationship to something like 8 oak. I haven't done that type thing, which was, I think when I listened to the beginning, it was about harmony, harmonic frequencies, and the blending of the species. Is that what you would sum it up?
I'd say so. Yeah, you got it.
Thank you.
Thank you. That's rich. Wow.
We haven't heard from Danielle. Is Danielle willing to share anything?
She may be off with the twins.
Oh, that could be it.
I suspect that's what's going on. But it's so great she pulled in here.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure we'll hear from her eventually here.
Oh, good.
I wanted to ask Dwayne, you've recorded this, so does that mean we can access it in some way? And how would that be?
Yeah, as I indicated in the initial literature on it, I will post it on my BitChute channel.
Okay.
So it'll be available for us and for everybody else. And
you have a BitChute channel?
Yeah.
Oh,
Um,
yeah,
yeah,
I look you up.
if you go to my the initial invitation, I think I have the address on there.
All right, yeah, cool. Yeah, I've went into BitChute, and then I thought, for whom I'm gonna looking, you know, it's like it didn't come into my mind to look for Dwayne since we didn't see for so long. I mean, it was like it's like light years since we spoke.
Yeah.
Or even had contact. So
yeah.
But nice. I'm really open for you guys to join the path, and I like the moon. I think the moon is also connected to the divine feminine more than the sun. Mm-hmm. And since we really need to connect more to the feminine, divine feminine, mm-hmm. because it's overwhelming right now what the masculine energy is putting up. Yeah. So, and it's related also to Atlantis, and the dolphins can tell us a lot about Atlantis as well. Mm-hmm. If you guys know that.
That's a very interesting area of study. I look forward to it.
Yeah, and when they tell you what happened there, it's interesting. So if you're listening, they're storytellers. For me, they are just coming in and telling me stories. Mm. They're very chitty chatty. They if you listen, I don't know how I do it, but they just tell me stories, but this is the painting thing, you know, when you sort of channel or try to open yourself up. You just have to let everything come and then listen to it. Mm. This is what we're not doing with the animals, like with the dog, you know, the dog has to listen to us. And not we are listening to the dog. That would be much better.
Right. Yeah, we have 2 ears and 1 mouth.
Huh? What?
We have 2 ears and 1 mouth.
The emphasis would be on hearing, listening.
Yeah, listening, but it's also listening more like on a deeper level. I don't know really where to put it, but maybe it could be the heart. Mm-hmm. I would say. Yeah. Where you get the information, because it's not in the head.
Right.
The head is actually more in the way than when you're listening. You have to sort of turn it off. And then the heart energy. I mean, when you love your dog, you definitely love your dog. You know, you don't think you are loving your dog. It's like more, but then you also can see what kind of vibration he's picking up and sharing it with you. But maybe the whale gets also thinner in these days, especially when you're on the path of the moon. Mm-hmm. Dwayne, maybe that's what you're talking about, that it's also more transparent. Mm. So
all of us can certainly, it's one I certainly feel. Like I feel the moon, I feel that heat of this sun. But then the further out it goes, I'm going, okay, Mars, Venus.
I think for men, it's so beautiful when they're opening up for the moon. This is why I really want to support you, Dwayne, because you are a moon man. You're the future man, you know, like how men have to be to allow themselves to be weak and sensitive. Mm-hmm. And humble and sweet and cry sometimes.
Mm-hmm. Agreed.
It's not what they are taught.
That's for sure.
So it's really a nice time, I think, which is opening up, especially for men, to see the softer part.
Yeah, be able to balance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you for that.
Mm-hmm.
You're welcome. Yeah, and women are going to be stronger. And let them be stronger. That's also like something what's probably difficult, because we are insecure of being strong. I mean, I was a single mother all my life, but I did my art trip and I had to really stand, but my moon is in Leo. So at least I had the power to defend myself in a way.
Yeah, I'm married to a very strong woman.
Yeah, you are lucky.
I'm a lucky man. Yeah.
And it's very valuable when a man can let the woman sort of develop her sweetness, her softness, and be able to talk and express emotional things.
Mm-hmm. There's no problem with that in our relationship, I know.
Yeah, it's not easy. Relationships,
Mm-hmm.
sorry. I avoided probably, I mean, I avoided, it's not like you avoid relationships, but you live your life, and when you strong, you don't really have to have a partner in a way. And then, but it's also important to have friends then who are sort of a partner to you when you're strong, you know. That's not so easy on the moon path. It's like because you have to have a respect also to, I mean, the women have always want to respect men in a way, but then it also has to be the other way around, and that's very, very seldom, Dwayne. I mean, it's hard to find that a man sort of has the power to say, wow, this is really cool what you're doing. And I thank you for you appreciating my art. It really did warm my heart that you showed my painting. And it was the first one I think I started. It was the art painting. I think that was the first one coming in as a channel.
Oh, I wondered about that.
So I'm really honored that you dared to ask me to show it. And then also invite me to your little group. And I hope we're gonna grow and more people are gonna.
Well, this whole notion of companions of destiny, you know, I don't know what you guys think about that, but it feels right for me, you know. It's just a certain alignment that people have, and you're either in that alignment or you're not, you know. There's no judgment as to whether you should be or you shouldn't be. It's just that there's a resonance, and we move ahead together. And if we convene like we're doing here periodically, then it really amplifies that whole thing. I mean, look at, we're a planetary group already. We're you know, we've gone across the Atlantic here to connect with Barbara, and
yeah, I had a dream of swimming last night. It was like it was an immense ocean, but I wasn't scared at all. I mean, I'm water shy, really. So, but I was swimming all night long in this deep water, and I wasn't afraid at all. So it must have been this dolphin, me in a dolphin or something.
I had
it wasn't scary.
Thank you for swimming to us.
I should be exhausted. But it's nice. It was a nice, because ocean is, I mean, I'm surrounded here. I look into the ocean right when I look out my window. I mean, I'm surrounded by ocean, but I'm scared. And I can watch it for hours, but I cannot swim. I'm not a swimmer at all.
Now, somewhere on your website or on your Facebook page, there's a beautiful photo of 3 or 4 dolphins in shallow water coming right up to you, I presume, taking the photo. Is that what it's like there? Do you have areas where the dolphins come in?
Oh, there is boats around the little island. There are dolphins everywhere. And I just can connect with them being out in the water. And I'm not a surfer. It's a surfer island. Yeah. I'm not surfing anything, but I have surfer friends, and they say it's beautiful. But for me, it's more the cosmic connection I have. I have a very spiritual connection to the dolphins. I don't have a, let's say, body-wise experience that but they come, you know, like you have the dolphin come into your vision now by showing up with the same picture. They're not like only in the water, they're in the cosmos.
Right on.
They're in the cosmic energy realm, you know? Yeah. And this is what I'm saying. I can just say, it's not from your mind where the connection comes. It comes from your gut feeling, I think. That's where they communicate, and yeah, either you get a message or you get a dream. Like I had a couple of dreams, dolphin dreams, when I was painting the Mayan glyphs. Yeah, it was beautiful. And there were all these bodies, these really surfer guys in these dolphins. And they swam with me and they said, yeah, come on, swim, swim. And amazing. Well, I'm telling you the dream now. And it's like the glyph man in my paintings is that dream. It's like we were swimming around in the bay.
What? I'm sorry. In the Mayan calendar, men, that glyph represents the planetary mind.
Yes, wow. And it's such a, you should check out I did send you the link for my shop.
Yes.
And check out this painting, because it's like I swam with these 2 surfer guys, and they took me for a turn in a beautiful bay, really beautiful, beautiful bay. And we were swimming around a shipwreck or something. And then all of a sudden, an eagle was showing up over us. And I said to these guys, oh, I would like to see this bay just from up there. And they said, just do it. I said, what do you mean? Just do it. They just said, and they were laughing. I said, just do it, just go. And you know, this was so amazing. All of us, and in my dream, I said, okay, I'll do it. And I was sitting in the eagle, like in a cockpit, looking out of the eagle's eyes, like a magnifying glass. The eagles have eyes like big fat glasses, you know, like things you would look through, looking glasses. And he was taking a turn, and I got so sick from this fast move and looking down that I woke up. It was so scary to be in this eagle's vision. But the story is that I just did it, you know, and it happened. And And that was the message, that you just have to do it. I was really puzzling a long time about this message. And I created that painting for it, you know. It's like with these two dolphins swimming,
Yeah.
and then having this eagle experience. Mi madre. It was a roller coaster. It's worse than anything. Oh God. But now I know why they see so well. You know, they really have this incredible eyes.
Mm.
For miles,
Yeah.
they can see for miles.
Yeah?
Yeah.
What did you say?
They can see for miles.
Yeah, they can see any details, and it's overwhelming. Definitely. Glad I woke up. Yeah, yeah. That's how I painted the glyphs. It's like everything is one. The dreams. You just have to sort of let go of restricting thinking, you know, like what we are doing now with all this COVID and war and shit. It's all in our head. It doesn't exist in your heart. But how do you see it? Is the war in your heart?
It's all connected.
Yeah, it's a part of it.
It's
but
all,
it's like
it's all nature.
Yeah, but it's also
then we
this,
start getting
this
into
mental.
then we start getting into the dark and the light of it all.
Mm-hmm.
And then in the darkness there's light, in the light there's darkness.
True.
It's all connected.
It needs each
for
other.
For me, it's to remain balanced within those things that are happening.
Yeah, I was talking more about all this stuff you have like in YouTube and screwing with your head with all this information about this and that, and in the end we don't know what's going on at all, or it's all a bunch of lies.
Yeah, I feel the saying where bhikkhus guard your senses is what is it that I focus on as well.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, right.
I can guard myself against those things. I don't have to look at YouTube.
Exactly.
And there's many other wonderful things like this that I can be doing than concerning myself about war. I used to hook into that quite easily, but since my heart attack I had a year ago, it doesn't matter.
You have such a wonderful, soft energy. I like your heart, the way it is right now. I really can feel your softness. You really like cream. I don't know, like a like buttercream or something, you know. Very smooth, loving energy. You're vibrating. Wonderful.
Yeah. It wasn't always that way.
Well,
it was.
I wasn't always like I am now. Now. Dwayne wasn't like that.
I would fight up against it, and fighting for peace was kind of an oxymoron. So living peace is more like it.
Wonderful. Wow. Yeah. This is the experiences we have to go through to let go of being stubborn and always insisting.
If there's a book called The Holographic Universe, and there are courses on the hologram, and one can understand more about the holographic nature of this world. And that has a lot to do with how much you take in of the media and their ideas of how you are being entrained by, or they hope to entrain everyone along their campaign. But you have to always ask, how does this make me feel? And am I contributing to pollution, or am I contributing to beauty? And a lot of times, if you do realize the holographic nature, then you realize that you are a creator. And it's very important to create your truth.
Right. Because all of the stories are made up. It's all made up. It's all been, man has created all these stories. So which ones do we go with and which ones do we just let drop aside that hold no meaning?
In the end, we have a lifetime, and what did you spend your lifetime doing? You know, it's also that. Are you filling up your lifetime with something that the day that you pass and transition out of the physical body, you can say, hey, I did contribute joy and beauty and love into the world. Or I was just part of this cloud fog of fear and hate towards others and other species even.
Yeah. We do have choice. That's wonderful.
Yeah. Yeah, I did a zodiac spread with the tarot today for the future, for the next month, or the moon cycle, next moon cycle. And it was interesting. I mean, I'm just mentioning one part, which I was shocked to see it. It's we humans, we spend so much time in chasing money. It was chasing money, which doesn't bring us anything. And what we don't do, we have no bank account in our spiritual bank account. There is nothing on that bank account. That means like we don't think about meditating. We just push it off. We just, you know, it's always comes back to money, money, money. Who is pushing whose money somewhere? And do I have enough money? Are they going to take it away from me? Are they stealing it? And, you know, and we forget totally, we have forgotten totally to put something in our spiritual bank account. And that's where you can get the dolphins to help you to put your bank account correctly to a very high plus, you know, and you can have millions there if you want to, you know, you just
money,
have to.
Money is a pretty big story.
Yeah, and this is this is absolutely our failure. This is the failure card. And I said, shoo, universe, what are you telling us? You know, and maybe something what we are doing now is like dolphins chatting. You know, we are all dolphins. This is why my paintings mainly has dolphins inside. The other way around. But because we are like the dolphins. You know, we just are not aware because we are chasing this money, money, money. That's the magician. That's the money magician. That's illusion, absolute illusion on a material level. And it's blocking us. So that was what I saw. And also like body, mind, and soul is a solution to get away from being attracted by the money magician. When you put your body, mind, and soul in one direction, it's like focusing on meditation, on painting, on talking to other people, really scary was also this card is like for what we do with our families. It's indulgence. Like with this COVID, all these family people, we cannot talk to each other anymore because everybody has a different idea about what happened, and we don't find this love thread anymore. So we have to really put out loving energy to our family, and maybe we are family, you know, because this feels like what Dwayne did is this moon family. We just, you know, I don't know if it's only the family which you maybe have lost because they're red pilled or blue pilled or whatsoever pilled, you know. It's like, I feel like I lost so many, and it was really hard to accept that you can let them go, because I feel like we can find each other again. How do you see it, Steve?
Well, during this COVID time, with the help of the heart attack, I was able to connect with my son, which it's an old wound, and his anger over the divorce carried through. But with COVID and the heart attack, and I've been able to connect with him through WhatsApp.
Oh, wonderful.
His choice of media, and I can connect with my 2 grandchildren again.
Oh.
And yeah, that's been a breakthrough and a blessing.
That's a gift. Yeah, it's like a gift from the universe, isn't it?
Yeah. So there's been a healing there.
Mm-hmm.
It's new, and it's
warming your heart, because you see you to connect with the children also, you know, like the future. We want, it's so sweet when you have this sweetness of the kids come and see you, and they are so easygoing to talk to you, and they don't have these problems. Like they don't have a problem with you. That's true. Kids are amazing. Like this is how the dolphin energy is as well. Like very childlike, very innocent.
You guys?
Yeah, that was, huh?
I just want to, we're just over the 2-hour mark. And I'd like to keep with that protocol if you.
Okay.
And it's
Thank you.
Really rich. I'm just so grateful everybody showed up, and thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you all. Thank you.
This is a nice expansion on I do the tarot. Sophia and I do a tarot, and we're both on the cusp, so we get to pick 4 cards for. I'm a Pisces Aries.
Oh.
And I'm at the.
That's
Omega.
a combination.
I'm a dreaming pioneer.
Oh, sweet.
And I'm on the Omega point, so it's quite fascinating. So we draw a card every new moon, and so this really enhances it to another level, I feel. So I've journaled with my cards for the past
wonderful
5 years, but now with this and expanding into a connecting group feels wonderful.
Great.
It's good to see Joanne again, and Dwayne.
Yeah. Hello, John.
Yeah.
Nice to meet you, Joanne.
Yeah, likewise, Barbara. And I love your Dwayne Companions of Destiny. It just that resonates as this whole gathering did. And I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful. Thank you.
Good idea. Yes, very good.
Thank you, Dwayne, for putting it up.
Thank you for responding.
The leadership.
Wonderful.
Yeah, there's just one like synchronicity after another, even the entire conversation. So thank you for having me, and I'm so happy to meet everyone, and it's been wonderful.
Great.
It's given me some ideas for my new moon ceremony tonight. Plus, it's also being so many synchronicities that have happened in the conversation. It's also clarified some of my ideas. It's kind of funny because I was going to do, like in my ceremonial part, I was going to do everyone write down their intentions on little pieces of paper and then crumple them up like a seed and plant them outside somewhere. But just your whole concept about journaling, I was like, why don't I have people write a journal entry and then write on their intentions on little seeds and plant them in the ground? So it's given me a lot of ideas as well. And pull a card. I read tarot as well, so I'm like, oh yeah, I should do a card.
Very
pull.
good. Yeah.
Wow.
So
go for it.
Yes, as well. So it definitely meant to be here. So nice to meet everyone.
Well, I hope to see you all again next time, if not sooner.
Wonderful.
Happy new moon.
Happy new moon.
Enjoy your moon.
On the journey.
Thank you.
Bye.
This will be our symbol.
Yeah. Oh, I love doing that.